We got joint practice number 2 in the books, man. There's a lot more fights, but there's also some great plays that we're seeing. Our guys really making a ton of plays as well ahead of their first preseason game against the Lions, and a lot of takeaways to take from it. Overall, throughout training camp, there's some current things that continue to stay a thing, which is Malik Nabers being a star. Malik Nabers has shown that he's going to be getting a bulk load of the targets this upcoming season. And that's something that you wanted when we drafted him, but it's really good to see it take place on the practice field, not only against ourselves, but doing it against the Lions. We saw it yesterday. We talked about it yesterday that Malik Nabers is always open, and it doesn't really matter who's guarding him. He's always going to get open. And against this Lions defense was once again, this Lions team was an NFC, one NFC championship game away from making the Super Bowl last year. So, they have some pieces in place. And Malik Nabers is just straight cooking them. We're still waiting to see who's going to get tested by. There's going to be, CB1 matchups that are going to be taking place during the season. But right now, Malik Nabers cannot be guarded by anyone. And I love to see that Daniel Jones is going out and throwing the ball to Malik. I like that. It doesn't matter who it is. Hopefully, we keep this same momentum going in the games. And hopefully, Daniel Jones continues to target Malik Nabers because we know with Malik Nabers, with Darius Slayton, we still got Wan'Dale Robinson. You're still going to have Jalen Hyatt in year 2. There's some guys that are fast. You just got to get the ball out to them. You have to. Malik Nabers is a guy that you just got to throw it up and hope that he comes down with it because I think he can. I really do. But it's all on Daniel Jones if he's going to pull that trigger. So far during training camp, that's all he's been doing. So I got to hope that he'll continue to do that in the regular season. I just want to know, and once again, I'm not going to sit here and say, I have full faith in Daniel Jones being a top 5 QB now after what I've seen these last 2 days. But everyone was overreacting like crazy to some overthrows and some high throws that Daniel Jones was making a week ago. I want to know where those people are at today. And I'm just saying that because that's why you shouldn't be all high and all down when it comes to certain things you see in training camp. It's practice, guys. It's practice. You would think that with the reps going against actual, defense and 11 on 11, you would think Daniel Jones' throws would probably be even worse, right? Because he can't make some throws, against themselves on 7 on 7 or 11 on 11. But no, those throws are still accurate. Malik, that catch that he made for the touchdown, he was still able to go up for it and bring it down for that touchdown on that fade route by Daniel Jones. And a lot of people are saying that Daniel Jones underthrew that ball. It was put in a perfect spot. Let's just be honest. He beat his guy. Malik Nabers was able to turn around and make a great catch on it. Was it the best throw in the world? It was not. But it was still a serviceable throw and a throw that our wide receiver 1 is able to make. And that's what you want to see. Daniel Jones is probably not pulling that trigger, often anyways. So to see it even go down, give Daniel Jones some props. So far, he's looked good during training camp. But once again, I'm not going to be super high on him because it's training camp, guys. Let's not overreact when he's bad. And let's not overreact when he's great. Let's just hope that it translates into the regular season. And I am excited. Seeing this team, face the Lions in these joint practices got me excited because it's real football. And once again, man, I don't know why. I think since we knew, last year the Giants team was not winning games and they started to tread, on losing a lot of games, it felt like the season probably ended too early for us. And this offseason has felt like forever, but I'm excited to see football, continue to turn the corner. And once again, not only on the offensive side of the ball, we've seen some plays be made, but Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, that duo is looking exciting. I don't want to jump the gun, but it's looking really exciting. Hopefully Kayvon Thibodeau, continues to show what he can do because that's the problem with Kayvon is his consistency. We know he has the ability. We know he can turn it on at certain points, but it's really about staying consistent and really seeing him do that throughout the whole season, not just in certain games. We've seen him take over a game like the Jets and the Commanders, but now we need to see it, continue to level out and do it against everybody. And with him not being the focal point pass rusher, I think you're going to see him excel with that. Brian Burns, after one of the first plays, he limped off, but then he taped up his ankle, went back in there, and would have had a sack. Like, seeing that, energy from a player like Brian Burns and also just a pass rusher on the Giants side, we haven't seen that in a very long time. And we were excited with Kayvon Thibodeau, but guess what? Brian Burns, I'm really excited to see what Brian Burns is going to do because he was breaking havoc the last 2 days. These Lions offensive linemen really couldn't do anything with him, to be honest. And as you know, they got Penei Sewell on one of the sides and Taylor Decker on the other. A top offensive line in the league. You got to be real with you guys. Last year, the Lions were one of the top offensive lines. They added a former guy like Kevin Zeitler, which we know all about Kevin Zeitler, but they added a guy like him, and seeing our pass rush do what they did in these joint practices, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they're going to continue to do in the regular season. And obviously, we know these preseason games. I don't expect our starters to play in this first one coming up this Thursday, but I'm excited to see them overall get some reps in. And I can't wait for week 1 against the Vikings. I can't wait for it. Now, other things that are, you're looking at, Dante Miller made some plays. And once again, we continue to talk about Dante Miller. I've been on his coattails since we signed him, hoping that he was going to make some noise. He's been making noise this training camp. I'm going to be interested to see where the Giants pull the trigger on. But Dante Miller had a good run yesterday as well as today. Didn't really hear too much about Tyrone Tracy. I know he had a couple runs yesterday, but today didn't really see too much going on. Overall, when you think about who else is on the defense, you got Nick McLeod having some pass breakups, and I think they should make the argument for Nick McLeod to start the other outside corner. Now, we know Andrew Phillips, the third-round pick, he's been having a good showing. It looks like he's going to be the nickel guy. I think Nick McLeod is better in coverage than Cordell Flott. Cordell Flott hasn't shown too much. He's had a pass breakup in the past coming days, but overall, I think I have more faith in Nick McLeod than Cordell Flott, which just sucks because Cordell Flott was the guy that was drafted here in the third round 2 years ago. He just hasn't shown, and I know eventually they're going to pull the plug. Evan Neal's injury situation is a situation, right? But whenever he comes back, I have a feeling Illuminor is going to stay at right tackle. So I feel like if they can do that with their top pick in Evan Neal, they could definitely do that with Cordell Flott. That's the only reason why I got brought up. The offensive line, didn't hear too much crazy going on as well. Didn't really see like there would be a ton of sacks going on when the Giants offense was out there. Once again, practice did get cut short because there was a couple of fights that took place. And let's talk about it, right? I know a lot of guys are not going to be too fond of what Malik Nabers did today. After one of the end zone throws that Daniel Jones made towards Malik Nabers, it ended up being incomplete. One of the few incomplete passes towards Malik Nabers, because Malik Nabers comes down with everything. One of the few incompletions you see in the video, he put his hand out and pretty much pushed someone in the face. Next thing you know, Kirby Joseph and Malik Nabers are going at it. Punches are being thrown. You got weaves. You got, haymakers being thrown. And you got other people coming into the scrum. Don't like to see that out of your star player, but once again, it's practice, it's training camp, it's chippiness. Apparently, Malik Nabers said it after saying that, Kirby Joseph said something that he's not going to repeat. Don't know what it is. I don't like it, but hopefully it doesn't continue to be a trend. I don't think it will. I don't think we should take this and really be worried about Malik Nabers' character or anything, because clearly whatever the DB said really got into his head, and he wanted to act on it. And we know we used to have a former wide receiver that used to be a star, and that when there's, mouthing and jawing going back and forth, punches are thrown. Stuff escalates. We don't want to see that again. I wouldn't be worried about it too much, but I know some people are. And then some people are very, just against the whole fact of throwing punches with the helmet on, which is very dumb. It really is. I grew up playing football. I've seen a couple fights in my time as well, and people just punching people with a helmet on is not the smartest thing to do. And hopefully you just don't get injured. So Malik Nabers, cool to see you making plays, and that fight goes down. Hopefully I never see it again. I'm not going to overreact to it, but overall, guys, I think we shouldn't worry about it either. Just chippiness and guys getting active. That's all it is, man. It is very testy, and ever since yesterday, throughout the beginning of this practice today, you didn't really see too much going on with skirmishes, and then it all just, after the Malik Nabers fight, everything just went ahead, and that's why I had to cancel practice. We had 5 or 6. You saw Theo Johnson going at it with Aiden Hutchinson. You saw another fight with Olszewski, punches being thrown, not by him, but the other player. Just a lot of weird stuff going on. But once again, it's a hot summer day. You're getting beat because Malik Nabers was beating them. I'm just saying, maybe that causes tension to really tip over. Other good things to talk about once again. I love what I see out of Illuminor at right tackle. I don't think Evan Neal is going to get his right tackle spot back. I really don't. And now, I might have a video scheduled for Evan Neal, but Evan Neal, it's looking like where is he going to fit, and if he's even going to be on this team in a couple of months. Who knows? Obviously, injuries are a thing, but it's hard to really see that he's going to have a spot back on this O-line, and trying him out at right guard or left guard. It's just really too much to bank on, especially a couple weeks away from the Week 1 game that we have. Here we are. We're a couple days removed from only a month away from actual live regular season football, so I'm excited for that once again. But with Evan Neal still not being cleared, it's really putting in question what's going to happen. John Michael Schmitz remains out. That's something to look into as well. They keep saying it's not the biggest deal or it's not super like something you should be worried about. But if he's still not on the field and preseason one comes around, game one, and he's still not even healthy to even try to play, I'm going to start to get concerned. I will start to get concerned for sure. But once again, man, I love what I saw out of our team today and these last couple of days overall going against the Lions. Hopefully they continue to, keep that trend moving forward. Now fans are not going to be allowed at the training camp. That was the last one. So shout out to everyone who did go. We got a lot of good videos coming out of it. I don't know how much we're really going to see moving forward, but we just got to have faith that they continue to do their thing. We're still going to be talking about it. I will have my preseason one preview coming out tomorrow, talking about what we should look for in this preseason game one. Because as you know, there's going to be a cut down day, and they have to cut some players and have to keep some players. Some players are making a name for themselves while others are not, and we're going to be here to talk about it, man. So you guys let me know how you feel about the practices overall, and let me know, Malik Nabers, is he a superstar? Like, this guy has to be, right? I would imagine. We'll talk about another video, man. I appreciate y'all. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.